Get social with us. Follow us on Instagram at Goodtaste TV. Hi everyone, welcome to Good Taste for the Soul. I'm Angie Patton. As you can tell, we are back out on the Guadalupe River in Kerr County, in Kerrville actually, and as horrible as the destruction behind me looks, they've actually made quite a bit of progress, I would say, in cleaning this up. But we're about a month out now by the time you see this, and as these types of stories go, the big spotlight that the national media put on this place has moved on for the most part. But those of us who live in and around the area and throughout the state of Texas, so many have been affected, the struggle to come back is still very much alive. So today we're going to talk about that, how you can help, and some of the wonderful things being done, and the process in how it's being done. And it's a beautiful, beautiful story of a community and faith-based volunteers coming together. With me today is Angel Poorman. Angel is head of a group called the United Rescue Alliance.
Yes.
Angel, welcome.
Thank you.
I was really excited to hear about you all, and I'll admit I didn't know about you until this event. And you all are based in Abilene, Texas.
Abilene, Texas, yes.
And I find this amazing. You had a calling to do something different.
Yes.
And here you are in the midst of all this, but this is only one of many disasters around the world that you all react to, right?
That's correct.
We'll talk a lot about what you do and how your group does it, and the volunteers and,
Yes.
and support you need from everybody. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on here in
Yeah.
Kerr County. You all, since a couple of days after the flood, have been
Yeah.
stationed out here.
Yes.
And kind of tell us the process of what you all go through when you got the call that people need help here.
Yeah, well, my husband and I are born and raised in Kerrville, so we still have family here. So, immediately looking at the weather and just seeing the weather patterns and hearing even from the Texas Division of Emergency Management, just the awareness, the situational awareness of what was happening and pending. So I called my sister-in-law and just said, people are being staged in search and rescue, and just that place of, people are asked to be evacuated. And so in that place, we were making calls looking for warehouses, which is so important.
Where do you put all the stuff, right?
Exactly. And so my family is from here. We have land here in the hill country. And so I was getting updates from my dad. I was getting updates from our family. So in that place, that is our number one, is from a community embedded approach, really getting the eyes and the ears that are here so that we can come around what is really happening here locally.
So first is get organized, right? You guys
Yeah.
got the warehouse space secured,
Yes.
and then boy, did everybody come through with
Yes.
donations.
Absolutely.
So the process of getting them stocked, I assume, happened rather quickly. Then you move out into the communities affected, right?
Yeah, so for this type of response, it happened quickly, and the flood, waters were rising quickly. So we got, we're talking to our partners, Good 360, we're talking to the state. We're part of what's called Texas VOAD, which is Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster. So we were immediately on those calls so that we have an understanding of what is happening real time, so that we can come in and starting to stage with agency to agency partners to get those essential needs, even like muck out guts, the muck out cleaning supplies and all the essentials, so that, we can come in and respond immediately.
So it's also an interesting component of this. You all respond to the physical needs.
Yes.
You guys have teams helping feed, clothe, clean out the mucked up homes. And then there's a huge component that government can't provide and doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's the spiritual support, right?
That's
the emotional
correct.
support.
Yes.
Because these folks need it.
Yeah. In time of tragedy, in times of catastrophic events, it affects people emotionally, spiritually, and physically. A lot of times the physical needs are met, which are vital and important, the basic needs, but there's felt needs and the invisible needs, which is the trauma that's happening even through the eye gates, the sounds, just the effects that are happening from the physical needs around in the circumstances that are happening during the response.
Yeah, you mentioned that shortly after the main flood event on July 4th, it was raining here again.
Yes.
And it was kind of like a trauma all over again. It triggered them.
That's correct.
As you can imagine.
Yeah. So in that moment, how do we even train people ahead of time to have an understanding of a compassionate care provider?
And you all do train ahead
do.
of time, don't you?
Yeah,
This is
we
an
do.
interesting part of
Yeah.
what you all do. It's kind of like, to put it in perspective, we've all heard of Samaritan's Purse.
Yes.
You guys are kind of like I think of y'all as the Texas version of Samaritan's Purse.
Yeah. You know, my husband and I have done missions for 30 years internationally, and my husband's a pediatric dentist, I'm a hygienist. So for us, it was, being able to get the physical needs taken care of, pulling teeth. But we know that, people don't like going to the dental office, in that place if there's pain there. But when we can come in and bring comfort, whatever that looks like in that moment, then it helps people to be able to take their next step into the recovery. So, if that's a crisis or if that is a disaster or even with a toothache. And so that's really how we got started, was setting up dental clinics internationally and bringing resources and containers around the world. And we started with mission schools and starting to train of healing in the heart, and just really wanted to wrap around the individual and communities to be able to be resilient. So, having compelled by the love of God to give hope, to save lives, and to rescue, and building back better and stronger.
What kind of, you talk about healing of the heart, what kind of healing are these people needing now? When you all go in, I would imagine that's a very sensitive situation to assess.
Yeah.
Everyone's different.
Yeah. People have different beliefs. They have different, even spiritual beliefs and cultural, and all those are played into the individual. So when we bring dignity and honor, that they are seen, that they are known, and they are loved, and just being heard and listened to. Jesus was our first responder. And he empathized, and empathy is so important. It's creating understanding and be able to sit and listen. A lot of people just want to be heard. They have so much that are happening inside of them, and they don't even know how to disseminate the information. So when we can listen to them and do mirroring feedback and helping them and to empower them to take their next steps, that's really bringing dignity and honor and helping them as an asset be able to empower them to make those decisions, and giving them the basic needs, giving them the credibility and the honor. It's amazing what happens because we restore hope. And without hope, people die. They die physically, they die mentally, they die spiritually. But when hope comes, it gives a place of faith. It allows people to come in with empathy, but move in compassion. And compassion is really a movement of action that actually brings the force of love. And when love enters in, there's a restoration.
No, that's beautifully said. And if I'm hearing you right, there's such an importance in the help factor, but it's important that you guys are not doing everything for them. So
That's right.
You're a support
Yes.
for them, but it's very important psychologically
Yeah.
that they move on
Yeah.
their own as well, right?
Yeah, it really is a comprehensive approach. Because when you wrap around an individual, that when they can really be empowered, then we are not creating a bond with them. Because when energy and when people are emotionally charged, there is a bond. There is a physical bond, but a mental bond that happens, that people think that they need me to help them. But whenever we can secure that they have everything they need and come alongside to help them meet that need, then that's when hope arises. So it's really a strengthening of resilience within the individual to helping them to look at the situation and bringing those resources to them and come alongside them, taking their next step to recovery.
Based on what you've seen this past week, in the areas. We're in Kerrville, which is devastating as so many things that happened here are. Further upriver here in Hunt and Bumblebee and Ingram,
Yeah.
it's pretty rough. What are some of the things you're seeing now at this point in time? We're nearly a month out.
Yeah. It's interesting because, 2 weeks ago, there was a lot of energy here. This had national attention.
Yeah.
And, there was so many cars and volunteers that were here to help, which we're so grateful and so thankful for, the assistance. But this last week, there was a shift and a change. And, that's normal. Mm-hmm. And we want the locals to be able to recover, but there is a gap in that place from heroism to be able to come in and the energy to be able to debris removal. But all of a sudden there's a silence, or it feels like this pause or this gap that happens within the community. And they come in and there's a place of disillusionment. Mm-hmm. And really the shock and the trauma sets in. And so they're looking at their home where, yes, maybe a lot of it has inside that all that's left is just a shell because all of their personal belongings have been moved out to be picked up by the city and removed. And so, how do we take in that moment to be able to help even with social work? Be able to see, get their insurance, be able to help even if FEMA comes in, which they are here and at the state level. And the city of Kerrville has been amazing because they created what's a community foundation of Kerrville. And so many people have given. Mm-hmm. And so now, from the most vulnerable, a lot of those funds are being allocated to those that are in need. And so we can continue to come alongside by helping and plugging in at a local level to help rebuild. And that's through the churches.
That's where the churches
That's
come
where
in.
the churches come
Absolutely.
in.
How can people watching this help you? Because, like I say, we're only a month out. This is going to go on for a very long time. The need.
The need.
Yes. And it will change.
Yeah.
The needs will change.
We have been so blessed that we have homes here that are hosting us. We have volunteers here that are even providing food for us. And we're actually working with the local communities and helping in the rebuilding of the homes. We have volunteers, we have churches that are calling, we have volunteers locally and in Bernie and Abilene and DFW that are just calling saying, how can I help? So right now we are getting churches and mobilizing love by bringing groups in to be able to serve and being able to train them before they go in, which is so important because we don't want a liability of them becoming, traumatized by even what they see. So getting plugged in at a local level and be able to really teach and be able to have an understanding of how do we even talk to the individuals of our families and our friends that we're serving, where we can listen to them. So it's not really about us, but we're listening to them and meeting their needs so that we can help build back with them.
And which I admire about you because originally we had planned to meet over in the Hunt area. Yeah. And because you've been there all week, you said, it's very sensitive here.
Yes.
And let's not intrude, which is really what it would be. Yeah. So I think it's wonderful that you all are so sensitive to each individual need. And you all go through a lot of training, don't you? This didn't just happen. These aren't just the call out for volunteers, show up and go out. There's a process.
There's a process. Yeah, we actually have online trainings. And for us, we always say we don't want any unnecessary casualty, even with those that are volunteers. Yeah. Because it's important. A lot of times trauma happens even as a child, and you never know when you're going to be triggered. So when we can come alongside and be healthy responders, then we can respond with hope and in love and be able to be resilient and be strengthened by us being compassion and action together. So we created a comprehensive training. It's called the MESH Responder Training. It's the mental, emotional, spiritual, and social health. And it's the CPR.
Yeah,
Compassionate care provider, providing basic needs, their felt needs and the invisible needs are holistically being addressed. And then bringing the relief, bringing those supplies, bringing those resources, and then giving them to even those places of a referral that's needed. Because sometimes we think we have to be the end all, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're helping them because there's other, just volunteers and other people that are specialists in to be able to help and to serve. And so we want to make sure that we identify and be able to refer them to people that can help them in the long-term recovery.
Which is wonderful. And you all do this. It's not just what's happened here in Kerr County. You guys do this all over the world. I was
Yes.
surprised to see the places you guys work all over the world. And when October 7th hit, you guys went to Israel. And for the first time, I just found out from you, Israel actually sent a team here.
Yes. So we've been working with Zaka since 2018. And their specialty of what they honor the individual, even those that have deceased. Because, and the Jewish tradition, it's very important to honor the soul, the body. Mm-hmm. And so in our partnership, they do the heavy search and rescue, but they even see the need of the mental, emotional, the spiritual, and social health. So in that comprehensive approach, we work together. And to have our family come, the Zaka family come and serve alongside here in our community, it has been such a strength to us as they stand even with America, and to stand united in our community, truly to help with their technology and innovation that they have created to help with AI and find those that we're still looking for.
And you told me they brought some of their technology
Yes.
and some of their equipment here, right,
Yes.
to assist.
That's right. So they're here. They've been working alongside with FEMA, along the state. And so in our meetings, we helped our Zaka family with accommodations. We helped them even with the synagogue. Actually, Norman and I went to Shabbat last night in San Antonio. So we were with our family there. And so be able to sit around the table, to bring the light, to bring the love, and to bring life into the circumstance. It gives us all hope.
Absolutely. And the light is getting brighter and brighter and brighter.
Yes.
Thank goodness we can all tell that. It's interesting too for people that looking for a way to help, and maybe they don't even live anywhere near here, right? You all work with some pretty big corporations that are
Yes.
sponsors that help facilitate getting the needed supplies and aid, right?
Yes. So immediately when we get a warehouse, we start calling Good360, which has been a partner with us for over 10 years. And they have their business partners like Lowe and Nike, and I know it's like shoes. Yes,
Yeah.
when you think of disaster, being able to have shoes
That's
on your
right.
feet, those are really souls. And so giving them those basic needs are important. Amazon is a huge supporter, and actually we've been talking to them, and we're going to be bringing some Amazon volunteers in to walk alongside with the long-term recovery. So we're so grateful for those
Wow.
agency-to-agency partners that come in as we keep them updated where we are in the long-term recovery, then we can help in the rebuilding and bringing those needs and building back stronger.
What is the designation you all have with Amazon? Until I spoke with you, I had no idea that Amazon even had an entity.
Yeah, they actually have a foundation. So they
Yeah.
give grants and they give support, and they actually give, we call them gray sky and blue sky. So they're helping communities in basic needs at all times. It just, in times of disaster and relief, sometimes those heroes and those people that come in and serve, just like HEB is an amazing partner that was
Yeah.
here in Kerrville, they just came in and be able to help with those supplies. So it takes all of us, and the businesses are so important for economic development. And so whenever those businesses serve locally, there's a place of recovery that happens, being able to meet those basic needs.
Is there a vehicle through Amazon which Amazon users can plug into to contribute or help in some way, or is that, I'm trying to understand their relationship?
It's a nonprofit that's Good360 that
Okay.
they have Home Depot, they have Amazon, and these are all huge business corporations.
Gotcha.
It's like a funnel that come in that bring those resources. And
All
so
the
then
water,
we
all
have
the-
18-wheelers that come
Yeah.
in, and then we provide the warehouses and all the logistics so that we can come and bring those pallets and bring those supplies into the neighborhood and meeting those needs to neighbors.
I got you.
Yeah.
So moving forward, what do you all need, and how long do you anticipate your organization will be here?
So right now we're looking at 3 to 6 months and potentially up to a year. You know,
Wow.
we've been working with the city. We've been in a lot of the meetings to see how we can even plug in with the social work. Because, you know, case management and be able to identify, people are just now getting their insurance claims
Yeah.
turned in,
Yeah.
not even the funds to come. So when you look at that approach of being able to get your insurance, FEMA, the finances that will come there, and then taking community foundations and all the other nonprofits and the funds that come in, it's like the pie all coming together. And so we take that and we have each family and we go to the most vulnerable. Because when the most vulnerable is taken care of, then the community can build back stronger. So we take those donor support by the funds that are being in, that we can still bring volunteers, that we can be the ones that have capacity building grants so that we can stay here in helping in the long-term recovery, bringing those basic needs, but also the emotional and spiritual help as we stop and listen and truly care.
Well, what's wonderful about your organization is that's the key component, I think, is the spiritual
It is.
component. And I assume that is the case because this is not something you started doing as a career goal,
No,
right?
no.
How did you decide to start this organization?
So at 33 years old, I had a near-death encounter. And so I was in the best shape of my life. I was playing tennis at Abilene Country Club. And in that moment, I had heat stroke and heat exhaustion. And truly, I thought I was going to die. And Jesus' hand came on top of my head. And I had my life where we were serving in missions, but I always say I had a form of godliness, but denying his power. But I didn't have an understanding of his love and his power that comes in, which brings resurrection life. So in that moment, his power came upon me and he saved my life. And in that moment, I was born again. And so I knew I was going to heaven beforehand in the good works and in service. But in that moment of being born again, it's like I was experiencing heaven on earth. And I just said at that moment, I will serve you. And so in missions and serving with dentistry, God showed me and he gave me the blueprint of the immediate response, healing of the heart. And that's what happened to me. He healed my heart. He filled me with his love. To be able to hear the people, to be able to respond with a heart of compassion and be able to stop and listen. And that's what Jesus did. He walked alongside and he heard their need, met their need, and brought hope and love. And so through that, I never saw myself in disaster relief, but I believe that Jesus was our first responder. So now we can bring the love of God in meeting people that Jesus is here, he is near, and the Holy Spirit is here to be the helper, to be the comforter, to be their guide. And truly, we are there to facilitate the power and the love of the Holy Spirit and walk alongside, because basic needs can take you and it meets the physical needs. But Jesus said, who is your neighbor? And he said, when you know your neighbor, how do we respond? It's through a heart of mercy and a heart of compassion. And so our heart is the Good Samaritan of meeting their physical need, their mental need, and their spiritual need, and taking our next steps and helping them come alongside in wholeness.
Well, the work you all are doing here and in other places all over the world is pretty wonderful. It really is. And I'm so glad to find out about you.
Thank you.
Up until this, I had no idea. So hopefully a lot more people are finding out about you. So
Thank
they
you.
still need volunteers, right?
We still need volunteers,
All right,
yes.
come on out. You're going to meet some amazing people when you do.
Absolutely.
Angel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a
Appreciate you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Get social with us. Follow us on Instagram at Goodtaste TV.